Good morning, guys. I'm a little bit have a cold. It's been incredible. So I got a message that I wanted to just tackle, and I think I will have to do an episode about this, just in case you're new to my journey into my plant-based journey, I should say. Somebody said, "Well, you don't understand what it's like to be sick, and think that a plant-based diet can really help you with everything." And the funny part is that I actually went into a plant-based diet as a preventative method for my blood work looking really, really poor. And on the other side, I went into plant-based in a way because I was really looking for ways to stop binge eating, which is something I've done for a long time, since I was a teenager, because I was anorexic. And when I came out of anorexia, my relationship with my body and food wasn't healed because the emotional part of it wasn't healed. And I know that a plant-based diet can't fix it all, in the sense that you still have to work on the emotions that are attached to why you're eating, right? Like that's something that require emotional and psychological work. But and I always am very open about the fact that I have body dysmorphia. Like I don't see myself like other people see me. People tell me I'm lean, I'm thin, and I really don't see myself as thin. Like I actually, I don't. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, okay, this is what I look like. But it takes me a moment. And it actually might take even a photo, right, to actually remind me. So I know the struggle, and this is why I'm saying it's very psychological and emotional, so there's a lot more work. But what I've noticed that going on a plant-based diet did for me energetically, which affected my emotions and affected my psychology, was that there was a sense of not getting emotions that I felt like they were not mine. I just couldn't explain it. But once I learned, I went plant-based because I had A1C, no, I should say high fasting glucose, because we didn't check A1C in 2011. But I had also high cholesterol, which I was like, why I have got high cholesterol? I eat so healthy. I avoid grains. I eat only, lean meat like chicken and fish and veggies. And then, of course, I had my binging days where like I had basically all the things that I deprived myself of, which didn't help. It was maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. But that control, I think like even the stress can, mess up with your metabolism. Equally a lot, however, is that the point is that I went into that and then I found a shift in energy, because I was like, I was lifted from the energy of that, the animals that were suffering, because I learned what happens to them, and then I actually clicked that I was eating flesh, which sounds stupid because why wouldn't you notice? But it's like I was so dissonant to it. I'm gonna recognize that, I was forever told that, like almost taught that animals that you see alive and the animals on your plate are not the same. Or maybe it's just a coping mechanism for the fact that when you realize that they are the same, you suffer if you're a very empathetic person, or if you're a human, really, because we are causing pain and death to a living being after all. So that was my journey. So I understand that when you're sick, it's really, really tough. And I know that, for a lot of people that went into the carnivore diet and feel better with the digestive system, it's a relief. I really understand that from a side of a practitioner. I do. Because I know it's an elimination diet, and elimination diets can support in alleviating symptoms at the beginning. But I also know what science says, and the very fact that there is a camp out there that will push the fact that fiber is not important. Look, it's not essential. You can survive, okay? You can survive without fiber. But what happens to your microbiome? What happens to the bacteria in your gut that need fiber, especially resistant starches from things like potatoes? And by the way, you can, of course, there are ways to create them, right? Like you have to cook them, cool them, reheat them, like that you get the resistant starches. Or green bananas, resistant starch. Like what happens to these bacteria that make short chain fatty acids, and they can't make them without these things? What happens to the people that don't make them long term? This is why we don't have long term studies that show the impact of these elimination diets on humans, because they were not something that people would do long term, because we always navigate towards something that is intrinsically natural to us, which is plants, whether we want to realize it or not. And like, step away from the brainwashing of influencers on social media that say that you have to be on a carnivore diet and it's the best diet and you lose weight. Honestly, I haven't seen one carnivore that looks really healthy, that glows. Like, even these women that look thin and lean, I don't know, there's something about their skin that doesn't tell me. And there's a skin gut axis, just like there's a brain gut axis. There's an axis for the gut into every system. There is a hormone gut axis, because our guts is super powerful in basically coordinating everything that's happening in the body. And why wouldn't it be so when we have more bacteria than cells in our body? Okay, so I understand why you see this elimination diet as alleviating pain, and it is, but there is also, what do you do after you've done this, right? You have to get into that stage where now you can start introducing the fiber. You need to introduce the plants in a mindful way, which is why it's not something you can do with someone online that tells you, oh, just start eating. No, you have to do it with someone that can coach you, that can look after you, a gastroenterologist, a nutritionist, a naturopath, someone that actually understands what's going on, that can talk to you as you try something. It might not work, we got to scale it back, and then maybe we can go again. Let's see, we can find sensitivities and work on them. We have to understand why the immune system is triggered. Like, this is something I love about naturopathy. We look at the root cause. Why is the immune system triggered? Inflammation. Why is inflammation there? Do we have leaky gut or gut permeability? What is exactly that's happening in the body? Like, scale it down. Look at the science. Look at what it says. And then try to apply and really do work with precision nutrition for the person. But don't tell me that everybody should be a carnivore. Don't tell me that we have to live on animal products, because that is absolutely not true. Just like fiber might not be essential to you guys, meat is not essential. Can you get into trouble if you don't have a good diet? Yes, and you can get into trouble if you don't have a good diet, whether or not you eat meat. Most of the world is deficient in vitamins like B vitamins, D, in magnesium, like most of the world. And most of the world is not plant-based. Most of the world eats animal products. In fact, they eat more animal products than they should. Most of the world gets so much processed food, like processed meats. Like, there is just no reason to point out that a plant-based diet is a problem when most of the population that is sick is not vegan, right? Or plant-based, not even if they're not vegan. And again, I want to just actually clarify, being vegan is an ethical lifestyle that should be married to a plant-based, meaning if you are vegan, please eat a whole food plant-based diet. Don't eat a standard vegan American or Western diet with full of junk and prepackaged food. I know there is a lot of goodies out there. You have the Oreos, you have the vegan Kit Kat, you have the ice creams, you have everything. Those foods, they were bad for you when you were omnivore. They're gonna be bad for you when you're a vegan. So it doesn't matter that you're vegan or not. Just go on a whole food plant-based diet, and then just marry that with the concept that you don't want to harm other animals, and wow, you're done. It's great. So scaling it back again, I understand, because I was, and I want to just say this is in 2012 when I decided, okay, I'm gonna stop eating meat for my health. And then I clicked and I'm like, oh my god, I want to be vegan. I want to look after the planet. I want to look after the animals. I love animals. And then I got sick again on a vegan diet, because when I moved here to Portugal in 2019, and it started in 2016, a lot of emotional roller coasters, but 2019 I moved from having a routine, having my tribe, feeling helpful, to Portugal, where I was opening a retreat, and then the things with the builder, the stress with my mother, the stress with my husband, the stress, everything on me. I felt like I wasn't heard when I was saying that I felt in a certain way, which carried on for quite a while. I went into adrenal fatigue. I mean, my hormones, my basically, I was what it means. And although the medical system is only recognizing a little bit of it now, not quite, but we call it adrenal insufficiency. Okay, so I had depleted my adrenal reserves, meaning I was always stressed. My cortisol was always up, even at night when it's supposed to go down, so melatonin can come in and you can sleep. I wasn't sleeping. I was gaining weight. I was actually gaining fluid. Like I was really, my liver was toxic. I had pain. I had pain in my spleen and pancreas. I had pain in my liver. I had pain, like underlining pain. I didn't go and see a doctor. I didn't have the mind for it. I was triggered, like I was feeling like I was getting a stroke, which I found out actually with my blood test that it could have been happening because my homocysteine was so high. And I mean, everything. I was just not absorbing nutrients. I was a mess. I had type 2 diabetes. My A1C was over 6. I was a mess. And I wasn't on a vegan diet, but because of the having every people there, COVID, a lot of stuff that I will talk about in my podcast, I started eating vegan food, but like a lot of processed food, like bread, not the best, or sometimes sourdough, which is nice, but with cheese, like BioLife is always what I mention. Not that BioLife is bad if you are, healthy, but I was having it every day, 3 times a day. Like I wasn't to the stage of cheese sandwiches. I never in my life even had one, but then I just started having them. I was having a lot of biscuits and a lot of processed stuff, a lot of pasta. Like my veggie amount went down. I stopped having my juices in the morning. Like I was a disaster. And that lifestyle caught up with me together with the stress. And because of stress, I stopped looking after myself. And only when I actually realized how sick I was, that I wanted to get healthier, things started to shift. So I do understand, I know, I feel you, and I'm not judging, but I am actually wanting to highlight the fact that we don't have to be eating innocent beings, killing them, supporting this cruelty on this planet, which is impacting not only lives of the animals, but our lives too, our environment. Nature wins, guys. We're gonna disappear. Nature will regenerate. I just want to tell you that if we don't look after our planet, we're fucking ourselves, okay? No other ways to say this. And yeah, so I understand you, but there's no way to attack. There's no reason to attack and be mean, because facts are facts. We know fiber is important. You need to get on a journey where you can start introducing things that will help you. That's all I can tell you, like really from the bottom of my heart. I believe it. I've seen it. Research shows that there is no agenda here. I don't sell supplements with organs in it. I don't sell supplements. I support some brands like Newzest, as you know, for some reasons that I always explain openly and clearly as to why. Not replacing anything, no claims. It's not something, whatever I share with you is not even essential. It's a nice to have if you can afford it, and if you have to like balance out what you're spending money on now and maybe spending money on something better. That is all I do here. Like this is why it takes time for me to build a platform. I also want to do short content because I'm not going to be one of those people that tells you information in 90 seconds and miss out all the nuisance. Look how much nuisance there is in this 13 minutes conversation. So I really wanted to share this, and I hope that the person that sent me those messages understands that I don't come from a place where I had no problems whatsoever. I had plenty. Even now, you can see I have a cold sore. I know that I'm not managing my stress the best way possible. This hasn't happened in years, 20 years. But I have to, and it's a reminder that my body just needs rest. And I'm trying to find a balance with everything that I'm doing because I'm so passionate. It doesn't feel like work, but I'm clearly pushing my body a little bit too far. There's emotional stuff in it. I will share on my podcast as always. But this is what I wanted to tell you, like from the bottom of my heart, really. Now I'm in Lisbon, so you see a nice little kitchenette behind me in my Airbnb. But yeah, I really wanted to share this. Thank you so much for everybody that supports, actually, because I have much more support than hatred on here, which is great. And I'll see you soon. Bye.